Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell. And when you click on that bell, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And one last thing, don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome. And yeah, man, sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about Impact Wrestling for August 5th, 2021. Man, oh man, this is a good show, really good show, man. A lot of great matches on this show. I enjoyed the matches. You know, the main event was really good. The six-man tag team match with the Elite versus Callahan, Edwards, and Frankie Kazarian, his first match back in Impact. You know, even though I didn't agree with the outcome of the match, still was a great match. But yeah, that's the only problem I had with the show, the ending of the match. But yeah, the six-person tag, it was a great match. And we just had a lot of moving parts on this show. Really did. With Chris Bay becoming a new member of the Bullet Club. I thought that was really cool. And, you know, Fire and Flava breaking up. Tasha Steelz hiring this new heavy to take out Kiera Hogan. And yeah, man, everything, it felt important on this show. And that's what I like to see, man, importance. And so yeah, but yeah, everything felt important just like what I said. And tonight, man, it just turned out to be a fun show. A really good show, man. So yeah, so this is the Impact Wrestling right after Homecoming. And so yeah, man, so yeah, if you haven't done this already, man, hit the thumbs up, man, if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And right next to that subscribe button is a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I'm here every single week, man. I'm here for Tuesdays for NXT. I'm here on Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite. I'm here on Thursdays for Impact Wrestling. And Saturdays and Sundays, I'm here for the pay-per-views whenever they have their pay-per-views, whether it's WWE, AEW, or Impact Wrestling. So yeah, so first off, man, we started off the show with Jay White, the never openweight champion from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And so he came out. I thought he was going to talk, but he came out and he signaled Chris Bay to come out here, like come out. And so Chris Bay came out because we had a match. So our first match of the night, it was Chris Bay, the Ultimate Finesser, Chris Bay versus Juice Robinson with David Finlay in his corner. So yeah, so Jay White, he was in Chris Bay's corner. And so yeah, so we had a shotgun drop kick to Juice. And so Juice, he starts to fight back. And so we had a thumb to Juice's eye. And so Jay White, he was talking trash to Finn Juice outside the ring. And so we had a diving drop kick to Juice, and he kicked out. And then we had Chris Bay. He started kicking Juice, and the crowd started chanting Bay, Bay, Bay. You know, because the Daniel Bryan, he does the yes kicks, and so Bay, I guess he called them the Bay kicks. So that was really cool. And so yeah, so Jay White and David Finlay, they were arguing on the ring apron. They both got up on the ring apron. They just started arguing with each other. And so the referee tried to calm both of these guys down. And so we had Juice. He tried fighting back. We had a Famouser. to Juice from Bay, and he kicked out. So that was a nice move. And so Juice, he had blocked the standing moonsault by getting his knees up. And so we had a spine buster to Chris Bay, which was nice. And so he had a cannonball to Bay. And so Juice Robinson, he hit his jabs on Bay. And so White, he got up on a ring apron to try to distract Juice Robinson. And so Finlay, he had took out Jay White. And so they fought on the stage. And so to end the match, we had a springboard cutter to Juice Robinson to win the match. So Chris Bay wins the match. And so right after the match, we had Chris Bay and Jay White. They were celebrating on the stage. And so Jay, he had handed Chris Bay a t-shirt. And so Chris Bay, he opened up the t-shirt, and it was a Bullet Club t-shirt. So Chris Bay, he is officially a member of the Bullet Club. And so they gave each other two sweets and all that. And so that was it, man. Really cool stuff. Great stuff. Great match. And the crowd, man, the crowd was into it, man. They were into everything. And I love the crowd in Impact Wrestling. Like they remind me of the NXT crowd of old, man. And that Full Sail crowd, not the NXT crowd that we see today, but the NXT crowd back then. That's what this crowd reminded me of. And so yeah, with Chris Bay joining the Bullet Club, man, I want to know what's gonna happen next with these guys. Will Chris Bay be featured on New Japan Pro Wrestling, since the Bullet Club is a New Japan Pro Wrestling thing, or will he show up on Dynamite with Jay White? Because eventually we will see the Bullet Club versus the Elite. That's the money match and the money feud, bro. So we might see them on AEW Dynamite sometime in the future when this Forbidden Door storyline continue to happen. So yeah, man. So yeah, Chris Bay is a part of the Bullet Club, and so that was it with that, man. And so yeah, so right after that, we had a backstage interview from Gia Miller. She interviews the Elite. That's Kenny by God Omega, who is the AEW World Champion, the AAA Mega Heavyweight Champion, and the Unified World Champion of Impact Wrestling, with Don Callis, the Invisible Hand, and the Good Brothers, who are the Impact World Tag Team Champions. That's Doc Gallows and Karl Anderson. So yeah, so the Elite, they said that they're ready and focused on their 6-person tag team match later on tonight in the main event against Sami Callihan, Eddie Edwards, and Frankie Kazarian. And so yeah, the Elite, they said that they're a dominant group and that nobody will beat them. And so we had Violent by Design. They interrupted. So you had the whole crew of Violent by Design. They interrupted the Elite. And so we had Violent by Design. They invoked their rematch clauses. They invoked their rematch clause for their tag team titles against the Good Brothers. So they wanted the match to happen at Emergence. And so yeah, so I was like, yes, man, count me in. Violent by Design versus the Good Brothers in the one-on-one match. Yes. And so yeah, like right after this, man, I was thinking, man, what if Violent by Design invade Dynamite? What if Violent by Design invade Dynamite and cause a double disqualification? Because on Dynamite we have the Good Brothers versus the Dark Order on Dynamite. So what if Violent by Design invade Dynamite, coming from Impact Wrestling? What if they invade Dynamite and just ruin the match? That's what I was thinking. But obviously it's not going to happen because, their show is taped and, everything already happened. So, yeah, we're not going to see Violent by Design on AEW. But I would love to see more Impact talent showing up on Dynamite. That's just me. And so, yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Gia Miller. She interviews Fire and Flava. That's Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. And so Gia, she had asked them about their friction that they had in the group. So friction between the two. And so Hogan, she said that they will get back on track. They went through everything together and they always remain back on track. And so Hogan said that the friction started with Tasha Steelz being in that homecoming tournament and losing. And so Hogan, she said that Steelz knows what it's like to have a great tag team partner, and so Steelz agrees. She agreed with it. And so Fire and Flava, they said that they will beat Jordynne Grace and Rachael Ellering tonight. And so yeah, going into the match, that Fire and Flava match, everybody saw it, man. That there will be a turn because Kiera Hogan, she's on her way out of Impact Wrestling. Her contract is gonna expire, but she's not re-signing. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so Yeah, right after that we had Matthew Rehwoldt, the former Aiden English. He spoke. So we have the king, we have the homecoming king or the drama king came out. He had the spotlight on him, and so the crowd started chanting "Drama King," and so Rehwoldt he had silenced the crowd, and so we had a "You Still Suck" chant from the crowd, and so Rehwoldt he said that he wants to share the spotlight with his queen, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, the Impact Knockouts champion. And so Deonna Purrazzo came out. She was dressed nicely. And so we had a virtuosa chant from the crowd. And so Deonna Purrazzo, she got in the ring with Rehwoldt. And so we had roses being thrown at Rehwoldt and Purrazzo. And so we had the crowd started chanting, "No one likes you." So yeah, I thought that was really funny, man. A "No one likes you" chant from the crowd. And so Deonna Purrazzo, she spoke. She talked about her accolades in Impact Wrestling, becoming the two-time Impact Knockouts champion and the first ever Iron Woman on Impact Wrestling, and the 2020 Knockouts, or the 2020 Knockout of the Year, and the Wrestler of the Year. And so we had a "No one cares" chant. And so yeah, man, the crowd was into this stuff, man. And so Purrazzo, she said that she was the uncrowned queen of Impact. And so Mickie James, she had interrupted with her theme music. And so she came out with a contract. She came out with a contract, and so Purrazzo, she was not happy that Mickie James interrupted her for a second time. And so we had a Mickie chant from the crowd. And so yeah, so Purrazzo, she said that, "Hey, are we seriously gonna do this again? You're gonna interrupt me again and try to take my spotlight again? Like we talked about this. Why are you coming out here and interrupting me?" And so James, she had said that she's not here to take her spotlight. "I'm not here to take your spotlight." And so James, she wants Purrazzo to put her championship on the line at NWA Empower. And so Purrazzo, she said that, "Look, I've defended my title against the Unknown, aka Thunder Rosa." So yeah, she defended her championship against Thunder Rosa, and so she don't have to prove herself. She don't have to prove herself by putting her title on the line. And so, Mickie James talked her into signing the contract. And so Purrazzo, she says that, if I'm gonna sign this contract, first let me tell me who my opponent is, because the last time you guys didn't even tell me who my opponent is. So this time you're gonna tell me who my opponent is. And so yeah, and so James, she has said that that's why you're worried. You want to know who your opponent is? Let me tell you something. Your opponent is here tonight. And so we have Melina. Melina came out. So Melina came out. So this is her first time in Impact. And Melina, I was like, man, I didn't even hear about her in a while, since forever. And so yeah, I actually popped, man, when Melina hit that split in the ring. Her entrance, the split. Yeah, I grew up watching that stuff, man. I really did, man. It was I loved it when she hit the split. So yeah, she hit the split, got in the ring, and so Purrazzo signed the contract. So yeah, so she signed the contract, and so Melina signed the contract too. And so yeah, we had Purrazzo. She said that it's an honor. It's an honor to be in the ring. It's an honor to meet Melina. It's an honor to meet Melina, and it's gonna be an honor to beat her. And so Melina, she said that she's excited to do the same thing. Saying that when Purrazzo showed up in Impact Wrestling, she won the Knockouts Championship. And Melina, she said she's going to do the same thing by winning the Impact Knockouts Championship at NWA Empower. That's on August the 28th. And so, yeah, man, that was it with that, man. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. And Deonna Purrazzo is my favorite women's wrestler, man, in Impact. She really is. Dominant, man. There's not a person on that roster, not even Melina herself, man, could beat Deonna Purrazzo. And she just like what she said, just like Deonna Purrazzo says, man, she has a great track record. She went down the list of all the accolades that she's accomplished, man. She deserves it. She deserved everything. Deserved everything, man. Cause when she was in WWE and NXT, she never got an opportunity. Never. She was nothing more than an enhancement talent in WWE. But when she got released during the pandemic, the start of the pandemic, and which was the first budget cuts ever in WWE, she went to Impact Wrestling. She went to Impact Wrestling and she became a name, a bigger name. And now, man, everybody's taking her seriously. She's the most sought after female wrestler right now, man, Deonna Purrazzo. So yeah, bro. Great stuff, man. And so yeah, so right after that we had Gia Miller. She was backstage. She interviews Taylor Wilde. And so Gia Miller, she asked, "Where, like, Wilde, where have you been? Where you been?" And so she said that she had problems crossing the border, because her being from Canada, and she had problems crossing the border. And so while she had mentioned Tennille Dashwood and Caleb having something to do with it, so she suspected that Caleb and Tennille Dashwood had something to do with it because she got reported while crossing the border. And so the person that reported her was a person named Kelvin with a K. So yeah, she figured that out, that it was Caleb that framed her. And so yeah, so Taylor Wilde, she challenged Tennille Dashwood to a match next week. And so yeah, that was it with that. Yeah, yeah, I was wondering that too, man. Where has she been? The real reason why she haven't been here. But yeah, so that was it. And so right after that, we had a vignette from Kimberly and Su Yung. So they spoke. So Kimberly was possessed by Su Yung, and so Lee, she had called Su Yung mother, and so Su Yung, she says that your time has come, and so that was it with that. So we might be seeing these two go after the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. But I mean, like, where else are they gonna go after? What else? What other championships are they gonna fight for? So they most likely going after the Impact Knockouts Tag Team titles, but they need some wins first if you want to go after the titles. And so yeah, man. So and then another thing we had, yeah, right after that we had the X Division Championship Contenders match. So it was a fatal 4-way. And so yeah, it was Jake something and Jake something. I was like, yes, man, finally he gets an opportunity. So yeah, it was Jake something versus Shawn Daivari versus Rohit Raju with Shera in his corner versus Trey Miguel, man. This is a great match, man. Really good stuff. We had Jake and Daivari, they took each other out. We had a tope suicida from Raju on everybody that was outside the ring. We had a top rope moonsault on everyone outside the ring. And we had a drive-by kick from Raju to Trey Miguel, so shades of Roman Reigns right there. And so we had a running crossbody to all three of these guys from Jake, which was nice. And so Raju and Daivari, they double teamed Jake. And then Jake, he threw Raju into Daivari. And so when Jake threw Raju into Daivari, Raju, he actually hit a DDT on Daivari. So that was a nice spot, man. So yeah, so Trey he had took out Jake and Daivari with a diving drop kick. And so Trey and Raju, they were going back and forth. And so we had a Muda lock to Raju from Trey. And we had a power bomb to Trey from Jake, which was an explosive power bomb. And so yeah, Daivari, he took out Raju. We had a diving drop kick to Jake from Daivari. And so to end the match, we had a black hole slam to Daivari from Jake to win the match. So Jake something wins. So yeah, man, the right person did win this match. Jake something, he did win this match, which was the right move, bro. Man, it like I was like, man, about time he finally got an opportunity at the X Division Championship. I was like, man, like, dude, this guy should have already competed for the X Division Championship. Because you remember the last time, weeks and weeks and weeks ago, he fought against Rohit Raju in a tables match. He fought him in a tables match and he beat Rohit Raju. And then we had like right after that same night, they announced that they had an X Division contendership, and so Rohit Raju was in that match. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, man, wait, why is Rohit Raju in this match and not Jake something? Because Jake actually beat Rohit Raju. So why is he not in this match? That should be Jake's spot. And so, yeah, and they went on to the Ultimate X match. Raju did, and these other guys that was in the match. And he lost. He lost. He didn't win the championship. And so, yeah, so nobody in this match deserved a championship match but Jake. Trey Miguel already had his chance in that Ultimate X match. Even though I would love to see Trey Miguel as the X Division champion, still doesn't deserve a championship match. Rohit Raju didn't deserve one, and Shawn Daivari, when the last time Shawn Daivari been on TV? So he didn't deserve a championship match either. So the only person that deserved a championship in this match, a championship match, was Jake. That's the only person that deserved it. So that's why they went with Jake to win. And so yeah, man. So yeah, another thing what would have made it better if Jake would have pinned Rohit Raju. That would have been better because, because Rohit Raju, he got an opportunity before Jake. He got an opportunity for the X Division Championship before Jake, so it would have been better if Jake would have pinned Rohit Raju. It would have just came off a little bit better. And so, yeah, man, so that was it with that. Glad that Jake something wins the match. So he will be going up against Josh Alexander, so that should be really good, man. And so, yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had a backstage segment from Rohit Raju with Shera. Speaking of Rohit Raju. So, yeah, Rohit Raju, he was backstage and he was throwing a temper tantrum. He was throwing stuff around. And Shera was there too. And so, yeah, Rohit, he was complaining, saying that it should be his time. He should be competing for the X Division Championship. And so, yeah, he threw a bag and it almost hit Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green. So they came into the locker room. And so Cardona, Chelsea Green, and Rohit Raju, they got into it. And so, because the bag almost hit them and everything. And so Cardona told him, like, dude, watch where you throwing your stuff. Like, your bag almost hit my fiance. So watch where you throwing your stuff. And so, yeah, and then Rohit Raju said, then how about you watch where you walking? And so, yeah, they just got into an argument backstage. And so Shera, he left. And so Cardona, he told Rohit Raju, like, hey, it's like, what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now that your guy is gone? He's not here anymore. What are you gonna do now? And so Rohit Raju, he backed away and he was like, you know what? My bad. I'm gonna just walk out. My bad. And so, yeah, that was it with that. So we might be seeing a match with Cardona and Rohit Raju. And so, yeah, so right after that, we had Gia Miller. She interviewed Josh Alexander, who is the reigning and defending X Division champion. So, yeah, so Gia Miller, she had asked about Jake something earning his title shot. And so Alexander, he said that Jake, he earned his opportunity the right way. And so we had Shawn Daivari, he interrupted. And so Shawn said that he deserved an opportunity and wants to fight Josh Alexander for the championship. And so Alexander, he gave Daivari a match. He gave him a match, but it's not for the championship. And so Josh, he has said that if Daivari can beat him, then maybe he's gonna give him a championship match, a future championship match. So I was like, man, what? Like what? He don't deserve a championship match, dude. The dude just lost. He literally just lost. He was the person that got pinned in this match. So why is he getting a championship match, a non-title match? This guy shouldn't even be sniffing a world X Division championship. He shouldn't. Like why? Like why, man? Man, if I'm the champion, man, I would have been like, dude, no, you're not getting a championship. I'm a fighting champion now. But you don't deserve a championship match. You just lost. You gotten your opportunity and you blew it. So you should be going in the back of the line. And so yeah, yeah, X Division Championship shouldn't even be coming out of his mouth right now. So go in the back of the line, just like everybody else that lost. Go in the back of the line. So yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Fire and Flava. Fire and Flava, that's Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan versus Jordynne Grace and Rachael Ellering. And so, yeah, man, yeah, this is a good match too, man. We had Fire and Flava, they took out Grace and Ellering. And then Ellering and Grace, they started fighting back. We had a spine buster to Steelz from Grace. And so we had a Jordynne Grace chant from the crowd. We had a running senton bomb to Steelz from Ellering. And we had a muscle buster attempt. So Grace, she tried to go for the muscle buster on Tasha Steelz. And so Steelz had fought out of it. So yeah, that muscle buster shades of Samoa Joe right there, man. And so Hogan, she tagged in and she took out Jordynne Grace. And we had a PK kick to Grace from Steelz. And we had a double suplex to Fire and Flava from Grace to create some space. And we had a hot tag to Ellering. She took out Fire and Flava. And then we had a Vader bomb to Hogan from Jordynne Grace. Followed up by a leg drop to Hogan from Ellering. And then still she had broke up the pin. And so we had a super kick to Ellering from Hogan. And so Hogan, she signaled Tasha Steelz to come in this ring to help her out. And so, yeah, and in the end of the match, we had an assisted Uranagi slam to Hogan from Ellering and Grace to win the match. So Rachael Ellering and Jordynne Grace wins the match. And so right after the match, we had Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. They were staring at each other. They were upset that they lost. And so still she looked at Hogan with an angry look on her face. And so you saw like the camera was focused on both of these ladies. And so like out of nowhere you saw this this large woman. He saw this large woman. She was in a ring, and so the camera went to this lady, and so the lady name was Savannah Evans, and so Savannah Evans she took out Hogan with a Samoan drop, and so Tasha Steelz she didn't do anything. She just watched her tag team partner get taken out by Savannah Evans, and so apparently Tasha Steelz hired Savannah Evans to take out Hogan, so Fire and Flava is no more. And so yeah, man, that was it with that. So that's she's not gonna be written off. She will be written off of TV, but this is not the way. This is not the way that they're gonna write her off. They're probably gonna have a one-on-one match between her and Steelz, with Savannah Evans as her heavy, and so Tasha Steelz will end up winning the match, and that'll be it for Kiera Hogan. You know, she'll be out. She'll be out of Impact Wrestling. And so yeah, man. So that'll be our last match, whenever it will be. Well, I don't know when her contract is up, but whenever her contract is up, I think that's the day that's gonna happen. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had Gia Miller. She interviews Frankie Kazarian. And so yeah, so Frankie he said that he was here. They came here for vengeance against the Elite, and everywhere the Elite goes, he will always hunt them down. And so Kazarian he said that he along with others built Impact Wrestling. Guys like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Chris Sabin, Eric Young, and he mentioned some of the knockouts too, Mickie James, and everybody else that were there that helped build the division. And so, or the company rather. And so, yeah, Jim Miller had asked Kazarian, is he concerned about Eddie Edwards and Callahan's problems and all that stuff, problems that they have with each other? You know, is he concerned that their problems will ruin the match? And so Kazarian, he says that whatever problems Edwards and Callahan have, they need to squash it. They need to squash it somewhere else. Like take care of it somewhere else. And so Kazarian, he said that tonight is all about ripping out the heart of the Elite. And so that was it with that. So yeah, of course that was the main event later on tonight. And so right after that we have Violent by Design. So that's Eric Young, Rhino, Diener, and Joe Doering. They spoke to Scott D'Amore. And so yeah, they went to Scott D'Amore right after they got finished talking to the Elite about invoking their rematch clause and all that stuff. And so D'Amore he said that there will be a three-way. I think he said a three-way or a number one contenders three-way match. I don't know. No, it's not a number one contenders because they had the right to invoke their rematch clause, so it's not going to be a contenders match. So I think he made it into a triple threat tag team match. That's what I think it was, a triple threat tag team title match with Violent by Design, any member of Violent by Design versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack, because Swann and Mack they beat Violent by Design and in a match last week. And so Scott he has said let the best team win. So that might be at Emergence. So that three-way, that triple threat tag team title match might be at Emergence because Violent by Design they invoked their rematch clause for Emergence. So that's what most likely the match will take place. And so yeah, right after that we had another match and it was Jassy versus Steve Macklin. So yeah, this is a absolute squash match. So yeah, so Macklin he took out C, and so we had a Macklin's gonna kill you chant. And so Macklin he screams at C to never turn his back on him again because when C got introduced in the beginning of the match, he turned his back. You know, he turned his back away from Macklin, and so Macklin he was really pissed off about it. And so we had a corner shoulder tackle to C, and then Macklin he went for the cover and he stops his own pin. And so we had a series of elbow strikes to Macklin, and so Macklin went for the cover again, and so he stopped his pin again. And so yeah, Macklin was arguing with the referee for putting his hands on him and all that stuff. So Macklin he was screaming at the referee to never touch him again, you know, because the referee wanted to end the match and stuff. And so Steve Macklin he didn't want the match to end. He wanted to inflict more pain. And so we had a reverse DDT bomb to C to win the match. I don't know what he calls his finishing move, but it's a reverse DDT bomb. And so he hit that on C to win the match. So Steve Macklin wins the match. And so right after the match, we had Steve Macklin. He attacked C. And so Macklin, he grabbed a chair. He wasn't done yet. Grabbed the chair. And so Petey Williams had came out. He ran out to the ring. and took out Steve Macklin. And so Williams, he had took the chair away from Steve Macklin. And so, yeah, and then Macklin, he slid out of the ring slowly. And so, he wanted to, Macklin, he wanted to get back in the ring. And I think he ordered Pete Williams to put the chair down and all that stuff. And so Williams put the chair down. And so Macklin tried to get in the ring again. But Williams had grabbed the chair. And so Macklin had backed away and walked away. And so, yeah, that was it with that. So we will be seeing Pete Williams versus Steve Macklin. And, Macklin, he did say that on Homecoming, he did say that he will be going after a championship, the X Division championship. And his first target is Pete Williams. So that's our first great opponent, man. The first great opponent for Steve Macklin, because Pete Williams, he is a former X Division champion. And if you're gonna go after the championship, you gotta beat a former world champion, a former X Division champion, in Pete Williams. So yeah, man. And of course, Steve Macklin will win the match, and he's gonna go through the next person, and then 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 eventually he will get his title match against whoever the champion will be. And so yeah, man. So yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Tennille Dashwood and Caleb there on their talk show, the All About Me talk show. The most backward show. They're not the host of the show; they're the guest of the show, and whoever they invite on the show, they gotta ask them questions. The guests that they invited have to ask them questions when it should be the other way around. And so they called the doctor in, Dr. Ross. And so Dr. Ross came in, and he didn't have any questions for them. And so we had Scott D'Amore. He came in and he dismissed Dr. Ross. And so yeah, so Tennille Dashwood thought that Scott D'Amore was gonna fire Taylor Wilde for putting her hands on Caleb and injuring his neck, quote unquote, injuring his neck. And so Scott has said that's not what he's about to do. What he's here to do is to make a match. He's gonna make a match between Tennille Dashwood and Taylor Wilde, because Taylor Wilde and Scott D'Amore knew too that Tennille Dashwood and Caleb was behind the Taylor Wilde incident with her not being able to cross the border and all that stuff. And so yeah, so Scott has said that Taylor, she will drop the charges if you accept her challenge next week, and face her in the match tonight, not tonight, face her in the ring next week. And so that was it with that. And so yeah, it will be Tennille Dashwood versus Taylor Wilde. And so yeah, so right after that we had a backstage interview. So Gia Miller, she interviews Chris Sabin. And so yeah, Sabin, he talked about Moose, and he said that Moose brings the hate out of him, and he's not a hateful person, but Moose, he brings the hate out of Chris Sabin. And he said that he don't know what it is, but Moose, he brings the hate out of me. And so Sabin, he said that he's been world champion, unlike Moose. And so I was like, man, ouch, man, that had to hurt. And so yeah, so Gia Miller mentioned the Battle Royal #1 Contenders match next week, and she mentioned that Moose is in that Battle Royal. And so Sabin, who's also in the Battle Royal, he said that he will win the Battle Royal and make sure that Moose will never become world champion. And so yeah, that was it with that, man. They continuing to say that Moose has never held the world championship, which means that eventually he will get the world championship. So yeah, I think Moose will actually beat Omega, man. Again, not again, but like they'll have their match again, but this time Moose beating Omega. That's what I think is gonna happen. Because eventually Omega, he's gonna lose one of those titles. He's gonna lose one of those titles, and I think the first title that he's gonna win, or lose rather, is the Impact World Championship. And what better person to drop it to than Moose? It is Moose time, man. I'm a Moose fan. He's one of my favorite guys in Impact Wrestling, and he deserves to be the world champion. He really does. You look at him, man. This guy carried himself as a world champion. He looks like a world champion. He dresses like a world champion. I said this time and time again. This guy is that perfect professional wrestler. He has the size, the look, the athleticism, man. A guy his size should not be moving like that. Man, Moose, I'm telling you, man, Moose needs to win the world championship. He needs to win the world championship. If he never wins the world championship, they are making a mistake. A mistake. But yeah, man, that was it with the interview from Chris Sabin. And so yeah, before we get into the main event, let's talk about next week's show. So yeah, so next week's show we have the #1 Contenders Battle Royal. So that's next week. So Moosey is in that Battle Royal, and Chris Sabin is also in that Battle Royal. And I think Sami Callihan is in that Battle Royal too. And so yeah, so that's next week. And next week we have Tennille Dashwood with Caleb with a K in her corner versus Taylor Wilde next week. And also next week we have Shawn Daivari versus Josh Alexander in a non-title X Division title match or a non-title match. And so that's next week. And so if Shawn Daivari can beat Josh Alexander, then he'll get a championship match, a future championship match. I don't know why they make these type of matches, man. I really don't. A champion should never lose, ever, never, ever, ever. You know, if you want a championship title opportunity, you got to go through everybody else. You can't, like, don't beat the champion. You got to beat everybody else, the #1 contenders. And yeah, and like just like what I said earlier, man, he just had an opportunity and he lost it. He lost his opportunity earlier that night. So why are we handing out opportunities to people that already had an opportunity? That's the one thing I don't get. And so also we have a tag team match. So it's FinJuice. So that's David Finlay and Juice Robinson versus Chris Bay and Jay White. Jay White, who is the X Division champion, not X Division champion. He's the never openweight champion. So Bullet Club. So FinJuice versus the Bullet Club next week. And so yeah, man. So that was it. So the main event, man. Up next was the main event, which were the Good Brothers. So we had the Good Brothers. That's Doc Gallows and Karl Anderson, who are the Impact World Tag Team Champions, and Kenny by God Omega, who is the AEW World Champion, the AAA Mega Heavyweight Champion, and the Unified World Champion of Impact Wrestling, with Don Callis, the Invisible Hand, in his corner, versus the Draw, Sami Callihan, Eddie Edwards, and the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian. So this is Kazarian's first match back in Impact Wrestling. I think for over 7 years or something like that, they said. So yeah, so when Don Callis came out to the ring with his usual shtick that he do with Kenny Omega, you know, introducing him to the ring and saying how Omega is better than all these legends and all that stuff, he said that Omega is better than Ric Flair and Charlotte Flair. So we had a Charlotte Flair name drop in Impact Wrestling. So yeah, so yeah, that was it. So yeah, so the baby faces, they came out, and then we had Kazarian. We had a welcome home chant for Kazarian from the crowd. So the baby faces took out the Elite. We had a springboard leg drop to Omega from Kazarian, and we had the Kataru Crusher to Kazarian from Omega, and then the heels took control of the match. We had a hot tag to Edwards. He took out the Elite. And we had the machine gun chops to Anderson from Edwards, so he paying homage to Kojima. And so we had a top rope net breaker to Edwards from Anderson, and he kicks out. And we had a triple splash to Edwards, a triple splash to Edwards from the Elite. And so Edwards kicked out, and Omega, he started losing his mind, saying, "You gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding me!" And so we had the Elite. They stopped Edwards from tagging in his partners by taking out the rest of his partners. And we had a diving drop kick. We had a diving drop kick to Gallows from Edwards to create some space. And so we had a hot tag to Callihan. He took out Omega. And so we had a V-trigger. We had a V-trigger to Kazarian from Omega. So everybody was hitting each other with their signature moves. And so we had a V-trigger to Kazarian. And then we had a triple team moves to Callihan. And we had a spine buster to Edwards from Anderson. And we had a Blue Thunder Bomb to Anderson from Callihan. From Edwards. See, Edwards hit the Blue Thunder Bomb. And so we had a power driver. We had a power driver to Omega on the ring apron from Callihan, followed up by a Boston Knee Party to Karl Anderson from Edwards to win the match. So Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan, and Frankie Kazarian wins the match. And so right after the match, we had W. Morrissey. He came out of nowhere. And took out Eddie Edwards. And so yeah, so Morrissey, he dropped Edwards with a power bomb. So he dropped him with a power bomb, and that was it. And so yeah, man, this is a great match, but I still don't know why. Why are the champions losing? Why are the champions losing? That's the only problem I had on this show. Why are the champions losing? Like, why? Karl Anderson, Karl Anderson is one half of the Impact World Tag Team Champions, and he's gonna be defending. They're gonna be defending their titles against Violent by Design and Rich Swann and Willie Mack. So why are they losing tonight? Why are they losing? So you telling me that Frankie Kazarian couldn't lose or Eddie Edwards couldn't lose? You know, either one of those guys couldn't take a pin. But no, they gotta give the pin to. They gotta have the champions lose on TV. Like, come on, dude. Why? Why? The champions should never lose. They never should lose. Like, if you're a champion, man, and you losing on TV, man, you don't deserve it to be a champion. You don't deserve to be a champion. You don't deserve it. Like cause like the more and more you lose as the champion, bro, the less value the championship has, and the less value that the person that's holding the championship have. So that's why, man. That's why the champion should never lose. The only way a champion should lose is if it's a championship match. That's the only way. That's the only time. That's the only time a champion should lose is in a title match. I say this over and over and over again. I preach this over and over and over again that champions should never lose. The only way that they should lose if it's in a championship match. And the more and more, if a champion loses more, like time after time again, they lose, the less value the championship have and the less value that the person has that's holding the title. So yeah, I really don't know. I don't know why they do this. I really don't know. WWE does it. You know, WWE does it. Now Impact, WWE, they do it a lot of time. They do it all the time, WWE does. But Impact Wrestling, they do it too, but not as much as WWE. WWE, they do it every single week. But Impact, they barely do it. But I still get on them. I still get on them when they do it. So yeah, man. But that was it with that. That's the only problem I had with the show was that outcome. The champions losing in that match. But yeah, man, that was it with that, man. And W. Morrissey, man. W. Morrissey is continuing his feud with Eddie Edwards. I still don't know why he lost. I still don't know why he lost to Eddie Edwards at Homecoming. I really don't know. Or yeah. You didn't. Yeah. Then again, I did know why they beat him. Why he did beat him because that was the main event and he wanted to send the crowd home happy. I guess that was their reason why they gave Edwards the win. And you know, and he's the babyface and he's the hardcore or the heart and soul. He's the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling. So I guess that's why they gave it to Eddie Edwards. But you got rid of his undefeated streak, man. You got rid of his undefeated streak. So I would have just had W. Morrissey win the match and had him go at the X Division title. That's what I would have done. But yeah, man. But yeah, that was it with Impact Wrestling, man. Really good show, man. It was a good show. A lot of great matches. I enjoyed the matches on the show. And we just like what I said earlier, man. We had a lot of moving parts on the show with, you know, the 6-man tag team match that was built up last week, and they made it important this week. And you know, Fire and Flava breaking up, and Chris Bay joining the Bullet Club and all that stuff. Yeah, like yeah, everything felt important on tonight's show. It really did. And so yeah, and the crowd made it better. And I say this time and time again, the crowd makes the show. And having the fans is what's best for a wrestling show. Because you have a wrestling show without the crowd, man, the show, you know, it's not gonna have no excitement. It's gonna have no excitement, no excitement. And so yeah, man. But that was it with Impact Wrestling, the review for Impact Wrestling for August the 5th, 2021 on the Ryan Awesome Show. And if you like this video, man, hit the thumbs up, man. What are you waiting for? Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And then right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell to be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I'm here each and every single week, man, for Tuesdays for NXT, Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, Thursdays for Impact Wrestling, Saturday and Sunday for all the pay-per-views, whether it is AEW, WWE, or Impact Wrestling. I'm there. So yeah, man. So and yeah, follow me on Twitter, man. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, comment down below, man. Tell me how you felt about this episode of Impact Wrestling. And share this video, man. Share this video with each and every single person that you come across on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, man, if you missed my last week's, or if you missed the Homecoming review, the video is gonna be right up here. I talked about the Homecoming review, and I talked about also in that video I talked about the Bray Wyatt release. So my thoughts on the Bray Wyatt release. So the video is gonna be right up here in this corner, and the link to that video will be down below in the description. And also, if you missed the last week's review, the go home show before homecoming, the video is gonna be right up here in this corner, and the link to that video will also be down below in the description. So make sure you click either up here on both of these videos, or click down below in the link in the description if you want to check those out. And yeah, man. And once again, guys, man, thank you for the support, man. Thank you for the love and the support for the show. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. And I'll see you guys on. Yeah, oh yeah. You know what? I gotta get my pro wrestling crate out the way, man. I'm gonna get it out the way. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it a pro wrestling crate tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and it'll be up on later. It'll be up on either Saturday. Yeah, I'll record the video tomorrow on Friday, but the video is gonna be up on Saturday, either late Friday night or Saturday morning. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. And yeah, man. And this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.